YouTube was my teacher for special effects when I was in college because I didn't know where to learn that from.
YouTube is so helpful.
Yeah, right? Thank God the internet.
Yes.
Thank you, Google and YouTube.
Today we're in Seoul, South Korea, speaking with female millennial entrepreneur Carolina Lee. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey from pre-entrepreneurship to entrepreneurship? Where did it start?
I guess it started in college. I actually studied communication studies at NYU. But since high school, I was always interested in the arts. And actually, I came to Korea when I was 17 and I did 3 years of high school here. And coming from Venezuela, where the education system is not very great, coming to international school and suddenly all these kids are having IB art classes and sculpting that did not exist in Venezuela. Like the most artistic class you had was playing like el cuatro, which is a 4-string small ukulele. Like that was art class.
What were you doing in Venezuela again?
Well, my family moved to Venezuela in 1991, looking for better opportunities. That's what my parents did. Back then, I did not speak a word in Spanish. Probably the only thing I knew was my name.
Carolina.
My name is Carolina. I knew how to say that in Spanish, and that was the first thing. So I started in preschool or elementary school in Venezuela, and I just had to learn Spanish because I was just put there. Otherwise, you can't communicate. So watch telenovelas and just be there.
The soap operas, were they good? Did you like
soap
them?
operas? Yes. My mom didn't like me watching soap operas because.
But didn't they have like huge Korean soap operas? I know my mother is Mexican and she watches Korean soap operas sometimes.
Oh yeah. A lot of South American people do watch Korean soap operas, but I used to watch like the Venezuelan soap operas, and I guess that helped me learn the Spanish, or at least like talking and listening skills. But yeah, I lived in Venezuela from 91 to 2002. I think 11 years. And then I was forced to move here.
Forced?
Yes, sort of. Against my will. But when you're a teenager, when you're 16, you can't really say no to your parents sending you away, because Venezuela started becoming a very dangerous country. And my father's best friend's daughter got kidnapped in their house at gunpoint, and that's when he freaked out. Okay, you guys are leaving, because I can't have like the worry of you guys as well getting kidnapped, and so that was something and that's the reason why I came here. But I mean, being in such a good high school here, international school, it was really, really intimidating. Like, all these kids had art and piano classes since they were 6 years old. They were so advanced, and I had no experience in the arts. I had never taken a drawing class, so I decided to go into like the theatrical area, and I started doing theater makeup in high school. And that's how I always liked makeup, but that's when I realized you can do so many things with it. That's when I kind of fell in love with it, and then started doing a lot of the productions at high school. And in college, even though I was studying communications, most of my friends were film students. I don't know. My neighbor was a film student, and I showed him my hey, this is what I can do. Showed him my high school theater, aging makeup photos. And I mean, the first movie I did was with my neighbor, and since then I just fell in love with not only the art of doing special effects makeup, but also working as a team in the industry or in the student films. I just fell in love with the teamwork. And
what did you love about both the actual makeup, the teamwork, and the magic? What does this mean?
Well, I think all together, it is magic. It is an illusion that you're creating. First of all, special effects makeup is when you can make someone look older or a different character. You can turn one person into many different characters. That I thought was magical. That I thought was, wow. Like, I did not know how they did it in the movies. But now that I know how, it's amazing. I can do it, right? If you know how to, the steps. Sometimes when you look at something, you have no idea how to get there until someone teaches you the steps. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, oh, okay. I think I can do it. So that's how I got started. And then when I started working in student films, the very first one was in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere, in the winter time, snowing, snowstorming, no bathrooms. If you wanted to go to the bathroom, you would need to take a break of 30 minutes because they need to drive you out of the woods and then find a bathroom. So it was really, really hard, but everybody was having a hard time. And I think that's what I fell in love with. Everybody was supporting each other. We're all in this together kind of thing, I guess. And since then, I continued doing that. I mean, actually, I wanted to drop out of college when I was a freshman.
And do makeup, or?
Yes.
And then what happened?
I felt like I didn't really belong in that group. I don't know. It was strange. I was having a hard time belonging, and so I cried to my mom. Mom, I want to drop out. I want to go to makeup school. And of course, Korean parents, no, there's no way you can do that. So the deal was, you can do whatever you want as long as you get your degree. So I thought that was fair, right? I mean, she's only trying to protect mm-hmm. me. So it's not a bad idea that if everything goes wrong, I have a degree to fall back onto. So, mm-hmm. All right. So I did my communications major. I did all my classes, but on the side, I would do the student films, and I would
do the makeup
and take small makeup classes or look stuff up on YouTube. YouTube was my teacher for special effects when I was in college because I didn't know where to learn that from.
YouTube is so helpful.
Yeah, right? Thank God the internet.
Yes.
Thank you, Google and YouTube.
You made my dreams come true.
Seriously.
That's awesome.
And then when I graduated, I had an internship at a fashion company, Max Mara. I was interning there, and it was a 9-to-5 job for the whole sales department. And it was interesting, I got to see really beautiful clothes and dress models and whatnot, but the 9-to-5 thing, it just didn't feel like it was my thing. It was boring. Every day, the same thing. And I get bored easily. And so after the internship, I realized, like, okay, this is not what I want to do. I tried it, and now I know. I can't do the 9-to-5. I'd rather work 72 hours straight and then have 3 days of break than do the same thing every day over and over again. So that's the choice that I made.
Was it about that you had to be there at a certain time and be out at a certain time, or were there other things that made it not for you, the 9-to-5? Because BCBG is a really renowned company around the world.
Yeah.
And a lot of people want to work there. So that you had an internship actually says quite a bit about you. And that you didn't want to take it. Or you took it, but you didn't want to stay in that. I mean, there has to be a reason for that, right? More than 9-to-5.
Well, it's funny. I think it's ironic because right now I'm working in the fashion industry and in the entertainment industry. But back then I was, 20 years old, right out of college, kind of hippie-ish. And fashion district in New York is super, like, posh chic, super fast. Everything happens fast, like, they expect a lot, and people, like, the attitude of the people in the fashion industry, my first experience, I felt super, like, judged by what I was wearing. What are you wearing from head to toes? And I didn't really like that. It didn't feel friendly or welcoming. It felt like a very bitchy world. So that was the first thing. And then the 9 to 5 didn't bother me. Like, a schedule doesn't bother me. But if you do different things every day, at least, that would kind of keep you entertained. But every day the same thing. Every day punching some numbers, organizing some racks. Every day is the same work.
So you wanted something different, and you wanted to be able to be you.
Yeah, and when my experience with student films is one day I'm blowing someone's head up, and then the next day I'm making really pretty fairies, and then the next day we're stabbing this guy in the eye. Every day is unexpected, and every day is exciting, and that's what I loved. And after graduating from college, after having my internship, by the end of the internship, I had to decide what to do. Right. Also, I was on a student visa, so I had to make a move. Either I go study some more and get another student visa, or try to find a job that will sponsor me a visa. And I just kept wanting to work in the film business and kept wanting to do makeup. So I made the decision to move to Los Angeles because the 9 to 5 was not going to work for me. And I needed a visa, so I actually went for special effects makeup school in Hollywood. And so that provided me another year to be able to stay in the States. And I mean, the first time I sculpted was at makeup school. And I had to sculpt this. Actually, I chose Al Pacino's face. And
wow.
After sculpting it, I realized, oh my gosh, I have the skills. Like, I can do it. So I decided to come to Korea because I can naturalize. So I naturalized when I arrived here in Korea because my parents are both Korean.
Naturalized.
So I received...
For everyone else who may not know.
For who may not know, is basically changing your nationality to Korean. So I can claim I am Korean because my parents are Korean. And so I received a Korean passport after 2 years of being here.
And that makes it easy to start your own business here?
That makes it easier to work.
Okay.
Because they can pay you legally without any troubles.
This is good. Legal pay is really good, Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely. And until I was here in Korea, that was 4 years ago, until I was 25, it was the first time I could work legally in a country. Because in Venezuela, I was a resident, so I guess I could have worked legally there, but I was 16, so what kind of jobs? I mean, in the States, I was foreign on a student visa. When I was here in Korea, when I was a teenager, I was on a student visa as well. So this is the first time I have a passport. I have a social security number. Yes.
You can pay me legally.
But when I first arrived here, I didn't really know a lot of people. I didn't have a lot of connections. So the easiest way to make money was to teach English. So for the first couple of years I was here, I was private tutoring. I also love children, so it was fun for me, and especially when it's conversational, it's like, okay, playtime. So I did that for a couple of years, and at the same time trying to freelance and going to photo studios and, hey, here's my card, here's my portfolio.
How's freelance, the concept of freelance in Korea, in Seoul?
I mean, I think the concept of freelance is pretty much the same all over the world. You work for yourself or your client. You make your own schedule. If you want to make money, you gotta work. That's all. And I mean, I guess the scary part is that it's not a steady income. Mm-hmm. So some months are hot. You have a lot of work, a lot of money flowing, and then some other months it's dry. There's no work. And that's something that I mentally prepared myself when I decided to be a makeup artist. I knew that some months I would not get work, some months I would. So if the money comes in, you gotta save it, because maybe next month you won't make any money. So that's something that I've always been used to and kind of aware of So I won't like spend a lot of money, or always very conservative about it, because if there's no work, then you still gotta pay your bills. You still have to eat. So something that I'm always aware of. So that's the hard part of freelancing. But the good part is you can make your own schedule. You are free to travel whenever the hell you want. You can choose to take the job. You can choose not to. If you don't like it, if you don't like the people, no problem. You can just choose to. And everything is your choice.
And so your business now, do you consider it freelancing, or has it been an evolution of freelancing into something that, because I believe you have a physical space now that where you do your makeup and photography. So do you still consider it freelancing, or?
To a certain extent, because we only work when we have appointments. When we don't have appointments, we work from home. We don't really need to be at the office. So if I need to email clients or update our Facebook, or I can do that from a computer, so I can do that in my bed.
But now it sounds a lot, I mean, before it sounded like you were doing freelance on your own, and now it sounds like you may have extended it and it formally formed a business. Is that correct, or is that off?
You get a totally different reaction from people when you own a business. Because before, I'm a freelance makeup artist. And then now it's like, oh, I'm a CEO. So just the title of owning a space or owning a business, people give you more credibility. So people that give you more credibility, people respect you more just by that. So from being a makeup artist to a business owner, it's a huge difference.